All right, so let's preview Final Fantasy X. No new abilities for once. I don't know if that's nice or not, but considering the quality of some of the abilities that we've been getting, maybe that is nice. New legend dives for Waka, Eject, Braska, and Pain. Waka gets support damage 9%. Whoopee! What supports don't get shafted by this? But double paralyze resists, so that's nice. Eject gets dark damage 9%. That's nice, and double blind resist, so that's a good dive. Braska summon damage 9%. Yeah. I mean, what else are you gonna give him? All of his soul breaks are SUM type. Yeah, he's a black mage too, and you're probably gonna use Meltdown with him, maybe? Sometime? But he's multi-elemental, so it's not like you want to commit to an element, say with like Jack. Jack only does dark damage, so it's good that he does dark damage in his Legend Spheres. Braska gets the benefit of doing multi-elemental damage with the SUM type. And that also affects his soul breaks too, so that's probably the best he could have gotten. And double sleep resist is good for his resists. Pain, double blind, and spellblade damage 9% is bad, because that's school-based damage, and that does not affect her soul breaks. So let's take a look at their legend materia. Waka, Eject, Braska, Pain. Waka, whatever % chance to cause minor imperil water to the target after using a sharpshooter ability on an enemy. It's not bad. Yeah, it's definitely better than what you normally see out of a support, which is stuff like this. Duration of stat debuffs or buffs by 30% or 40%. And those are really weak for an LM2, so at least we're glad that that is not part of this. And if you're using Waka for his USB, which is his best relic, his best soul break, then you are imperil watering the boss, and the best way you can take advantage of that is by using Sapphire Shot, so sharpshooter ability. So that's fine. It's good. As far as like a support dive is concerned, this is actually good. I don't normally suggest diving supports, though, if your name isn't Shulk or Moro, because the benefit that they bring to a party over someone else is pretty minimal from their legend dive. But at least this will get you there if you want to go down that route. I obviously, like, Waka is only good for his USB. And I think here's one strike against this kind of LM2 is that he's already imperiling the boss with his USB, and it kind of makes sense that you would use this character to just wrath out his USB to increase the imperil on the boss, so everyone else, real damage dealers can get benefit from it, instead of using Sapphire Shot. So, yeah. I tried to make a case for it, but I couldn't. I think Prompto, yeah, it is the same as Prompto's dive. I just think Prompto, as a character, is better, because he's an actual damage dealer, where Waka isn't. Yeah, he's actually good. Jacked. 35% chance to dual cast abilities that deal dark damage. Yep, it's good. Can't ask for much more than that. Braska. Same deal. 35% chance to dual cast summoning abilities. Yeah. It's good. Pain. Same deal. 35% chance to dual cast Spellblade abilities. Uh-huh. So these are some good dives. Sorry, Waka. You're the odd man out here. Plus Pain gets the 15% school damage. I think overall I'd probably prefer the 10% all that Jekt gets. Braska's is bad, because that's only fire damage. Well, like I said when I talked about his Legend Spheres, he's multi-elemental, so if you're using him for his other element, his LM1 doesn't do anything. But Spellblade abilities do 15% more damage is good. Anyway, that's our Legend dives, and we're gonna go right into the banners, because there's no new characters, no new abilities. So, as far as content's concerned, it's a pretty bare event. First banner. 4 Stealer for Pain is RS water damage up, so whatever. It's a plain sword. 10 single target water non-elemental M water self attack and defense plus 30% and shorten cast time for Spellblade abilities for a period of time. This is worse than a cycle. Is it really this bad? Yeah, this is weird. Why is this so underpowered? It's missing an effect. 10 single attacks, attack and defense plus 30%. Grants attach water and Spellblade quick cast to the user, but if you notice any other quick cycle things, like Jekt's for instance, gain quick cast 1 and dark quick cycle. She's missing the quick cast 1. So the first ability that you use after using the USB will be at normal cast time. And those precious seconds, those are some precious seconds that you're losing on a 15-second buff. Oh, Spellblade quick cast. So it's not a quick cycle. Wait a second. Yeah, I think Asherlog may have just made a good point that I missed. Yeah, it's cast speed times 2 for Spellblade ability, so it's not a quick cycle. It is not use this ability and then gain a charge of quick cast. It is, you have times 2 cast speed for all Spellblade abilities during the duration of the status. So the first ability that you use after casting the USB will be at half cast speed. So that's fine. Bart's is different. Bart's gets a global times 2. So he can use it on RWs or soul breaks. It's just, yeah, Bart's is just flat out better. Why we, you know, this is fine. This is definitely better than I thought it was when I first read the description. But one of the nice things about the quick cycles is something we learned way back, like in the Shantoto versus Desh debate. It's that getting quick cast after the ability usage is good, because that means that if you keep on casting Spellblades, it's it's the same exact effect, but that means the beginning and the end are different. And the beginning means you full cast a regular ability, 1.65, say Engulfing Twin Strike for Pain. Then you Engulfing Twin Strike, Then you Engulfing Twin Strike, and you keep on doing that until the end. And then you want to cast another Soul Break. What the Quick Cycle does is it makes your next action at half cast speed. So that means that Soul Break will be at half cast speed, while Pain's will not be because of the way her USB is set up. It's during, not after. Oh yeah, I mean, the Bart's USB and people's single element USBs are definitely different. Just making a comparison between the types of quick cast, that's all. Okay, so let's go back to evaluating this USB. Well, there really isn't much to say. She uses this and then uses Engulfing Twin Strike, or Quad Strike. Hopefully they call it Quad Strike. Because that's what we've been calling it for so long, ever since we found out the ability upgrade was coming. And that's fine. That's fine for doing water damage. It's kind of plain at this point. These are very, very common USBs. What sets it apart is I think it's tough to do water damage, and you know that's the allure of this banner, but at the same time you don't want to forget that this is definitely, you know, like an A tier USB. There's a lot of room to improve with on here, and we're going to be seeing that. We have seen it. I mean, Edge and Titus. Anybody else? I should probably like keep this open when I'm doing event previews and stuff. No, not event list. Tier lists. Edge, Bart's, Yuffie, Titus. Yep. And we got Pain and A. And, you know, that makes sense. Because this is just about like 95% the equivalent of a quick cycle USB. Still good though. Still gonna get you a sub 30 on Living Flame. So that's a good start to the banner. Next up we have Titus's Blitz Ace, which is a Blitz Ball, but that's fine because the Titus himself can use Blitz Balls, and it's a plus water Blitz Ball. So what's really nice about it is it's ranged, and Titus's ability of choice is Sapphire Shot, which gets a greatly improved multiplier when you're using a ranged weapon. So what you do if you pull this is you augment it immediately, full. And you never take it off of Titus. The USB itself, 10 single target, water non-elemental range, physical damage, and water self-instant cast 1 and X mode ace. X mode ace is a chase. It's actually a weaker chase than most of the physical chases, but that instant cast 1 is huge. And the chase itself does have the benefit of being 6 hits. And we're still waiting for that Final Fantasy XII event where the 6-hit chases become more of a norm. Titus is the first, I believe, a predictable 6-hit, not like Bart's with his either 2 or 8. So really what he's meant to do with this chase is deal damage, because it's not that much weaker. But the 6 hits is meant to combo with the chain, which we see as the third relic on the banner. Double Edge. It is a sword, but it is not a plus water sword. Titus's OSB is still the only one of those that has the honor of that. look for that during 3rd anniversary. Hopefully that is an option for us. But Double Edge itself, the chain soul break, extremely powerful. I like every single one of these. I like every single chain, and this variety of chain even more. 11 single target and Party Quick Cast 2. Party Quick Cast 2 is just so powerful to add on with a chain because it allows you to charge up the chain with everybody really quickly. And do other things too. I mean, the Quick Cast it's a global, so it affects healing, it affects, utility and soul breaks, wrathing. It's great. It's just so great for every team. So, Tidus's USB is extremely powerful. Because Tidus is an extremely good user of Sapphire Shot, and that instant cast one is fantastic to go along with his many hit chase, and his chain soul break is one of the most powerful in the game. So that's 2 huge relics right there to go along with Pain's good consolation prize USB, and so that's a pretty good 6-star section. Normally you want like for the start of a good banner, something you know is potentially pullable, you want 2 good USBs and one that you don't really care about. But in this case, all 3 are thematic, and they're all good, with 2 of them being exceptional. All water damage, and that's going to be the name of the game with this banner, is water damage. The banner falls off pretty hard once we get past Tidus's BSB2, but it's still a good water damage banner. Let's go into that. I'll talk about the thing overall afterwards. Low chance to blind on hit with Twilight Steel. Well, it fits the name, but it's pretty damn useless. BSB2, 0 cast time. Always like to see that. 10 single target, water non-elemental. Self attack and defense plus 30%. Instant cast 1. This is like a USB. Yeah, this entry is crazy. 0 cast time, 10 single target. I can think of one thing immediately that this is meant to be comboed with, and that would be BAM. Instantly adding 10 hits to the chain, and it's really strong. And then having a charge of instant cast, proc after it. This is really just great for comboing with the CSB. And right away, when I look at banners, I love to see stuff like this. I like to see combos, because these are meant to go together. But say you don't get this. What if... So, you kind of look for something else that might combo with your one of your power pieces. The BSB2 accomplishes that. It's very powerful by itself. It has enough effects on it to make it mimic what a USB can do. And it perfectly adds, within the span of 1.5 seconds or so, you're going to be adding 14 hits to the chain with the 0 cast time and then another insta cast after that. That's pretty good. Pretty good. So, we've got a great top end to this banner, and already into the BSB section, which is normally, let's come down to earth. We actually have one of the better BSBs in the game. Let's see if we can keep this up. Pain's Guise. Small water damage up on light armor. That's nice. Oh, this is her old BSB. Okay, well, this stinks. We finally came back down to earth. This is awful. With Pain, you're probably not going to be using this many places. Maybe just for funsies, Sid mission. But if you're using your USB, you're using Engulfing Twin Strike and forgetting that this exists completely. But, like I say, just about every time I have one of these previews, if it's going to be a bad soul break, at least make it a good relic. It is a good relic. Pain's Guise is plus water damage, light armor. That's good. And now we really, finally, find our first, pure miss on the banner, which is Riku's BSB. 10 single target. At least it's 10 hits, right? But it's random. Imperil Water. This isn't the worst. Like, if I ignored the commands entirely, which you should, they're awful. It's not the worst because 10 single target Imperil Water at least allows her to contribute onto a team with real damage dealers, because she in turn makes their damage better, right? If there's a problem here, and it's a pretty fair problem, is that Riku can neither Life Siphon or Wrath. So yeah. She can use Sapphire Shot, but she doesn't get any damage boost to Sapphire Shot. I believe Riku is meant to be a machinist, and with no water machinist abilities in the game, she doesn't really do damage. She doesn't deal damage, and she doesn't generate a lot of Soul Break Gauge, so she's really just a really bad Imperiler. Increases the duration of stat buffs for 40%. That's great. That's awful. LMR, 35% chance to quick cast 1 after using a machinist ability. Right. Celerity abilities deal 15% more damage. Sure. None of this works with her her BSB. It really is just it's a big mess. Wakka's BSB is really, really old. It's one of those full breakdown support BSBs. It's bad. It's Sid missions, it's really nice, but overall just bad. Now we move into the legend materia. Gunner Dress Sphere. We got water resistance, water damage. Okay. Up to medium attack up based on number of spell-related abilities used. This is really bad. Really, really bad. Number of Spellblade abilities used. Wow. That's terrible. Okay, Wakka's LMR. Small duration to increase the stat debuffs cast by self. That's just awful. That's really just awful. And it's not water armor, it's water resistance armor. We do get a good LMR here at least. Moonflow's Grace, start with M water on Titus. Fantastic. He does get M water on his USB, but he doesn't on his CSB or his BSB. And it works great with both of these. Yeah, really, really nice with both of these. And both of these work together. So really, what we're looking and what we're seeing in this banner is Titus. It's a Titus banner. With Pain's USB being a competent runner-up. Super Soul Break section. Party Haste bad. Chaos Rod for Yuna. It's a Super Soul Break Medica. Yeah. Titus' Arm Guard itself is, forgot to mention that, it's a plus water bracer. So that's a good relic as well. So what are we looking at for good things on this banner? The top is all good, with asterisks next to the USB and CSB. Both are extremely good. Titus is BSB. And then, unfortunately, we gotta take a trip down the rest of the banner before we get to Titus's LMR until we get to another good relic. And here's the problem. You get so hyped up for the start of the banner and then realize that everything falls apart. It's a good banner. It's a good banner because everything on here that's good, which unfortunately is 5 relics, is all water-based. So though it's risky to pull on this banner, you have a high probability of pulling garbage. You don't need to hit on much to have yourself very, very well set up for water damage. And why that's important and why this banner has hype around it is because water damage is something that's hard to set up for. And even at its lowest, Pain's USB is still very, very good at dealing water damage. So what this banner is for a specific kind of people. It's for people that aren't able to deal water damage. If you just don't have it, if you don't have access to someone like Bart's with his USB, or who else do we? Oh, Shadow. No, not Shadow. Well, Shadow too. Edge. And yeah, because Yuffie's stuff isn't in the game yet. Or BSB's good, but it's not on the caliber of like top tier. What is my percentage opinion? Well, it would be 5 of 14. I hate everything on this banner except for those 5 relics. And honestly, I think Pain's USB is a stopgap measure. This is not something I would like to use going into the future. This is for Living Flame. If I'm looking towards the future and not just now, I think this falls off while Titus's stuff endures. So that would reduce it to a 4 or 14. But I will put it at 5 because this is good now. And it will be good into the future. It's just going to drop off. I think I think it's hopeful. Dawn Symphony brings up the point where we do have a festival coming up. Titus LMR is only a 1%, Ricky. LMRs are never more than 1%. If you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, back to what I was saying about what Dawn Symphony said. We do have a festival coming up in a month. I think it's okay for us to assume that these banners will be elementally focused, which makes me a little apprehensive because I know a festival banner will not be as good as this banner is for water-specific relics. But as far as getting actual value out of banners, I am almost positive that a festival banner that was at least 2-element thematic would be a better banner than this overall. You would have less chances to pull crap. So that's something basically when you look at this banner, that's something you have to think about. One, do you buy into the general thought that the festival coming up will have 2-element theme? And 2, do you like going for the super high end of Titus on this banner? Or if you do believe that thing about the festival, do you want to pull on a banner that is more well-rounded? I wish I could weigh in myself, but personal bias makes me unable to. I have Bartz's USB, Titus's CSB, and Yuffie's BSB, which actually works good with Titus's CSB because she casts very quickly, so it builds a lot of chain. So I'm actually really good at water, so I don't look at this banner properly. I hope I was able to strip out all the bias that I could on the relics. to at least give you guys an idea of what, you know, you're actually looking for. All right, next up, Banner 2. We got some Jekt and some Braska. Jekt's Soul King 14 is dark damage up, and I believe that's a Blitzball. So seriously, a dark Blitzball? That's pretty awesome. Just because. Refresh. Does it count as thrown? Yes. Soul King. Yeah, it's a dark Blitzball. That's awesome. Oh, gutsy. I know what you did. Thank you. All right, I'll get back to the banner. Anyway, it's a dark Blitzball. It does count as thrown. That's nice. Oh, no, it doesn't count as a thrown weapon. It counts as a ranged weapon. Right. All right, it's USB 10 single target Dark Dawn Elemental. Self-attack defense plus 30%. Critical 100%. That is incorrect. Quick cast 1 and gain quick cast 1. So it's a dark quick cycle. We'll look at it on Enleers because I know the description on that page is incorrect. Attack and defense plus 30% to the user. Grants critical chance 75%, which is a big difference. Quick cast 1 and dark cycle. So this is good. There's a lot of flexibility in darkness abilities, which you don't see in other ability schools. So he can heal himself. He can deal a lot of damage at the cost of his health. He can doom himself and deal a lot of damage with Reaping Scythe. I think Darkness physical characters and Darkness magical characters are all really, really powerful because of their abilities. Which is probably why they gave him something like critical chance 75%. You'll see and notice for most for cycling USBs like Pains, that she gets End Water, while he gets critical chance 75%. So critical chance gives you that percentage chance to deal 50% more damage. So it's easy to calculate what over time a crit buff will give you. It's just half. So it's 37% increased damage. And Water on Pain's USB gives her 50% increased damage. And 80% when using Soul Breaks. So as you can see, crit chance is definitely not as good. But I suppose that they gave him this instead of Endark for how potent darkness abilities are. I don't know. It's good. It's fine because Jekt is pretty good. And it's not bad enough where I would remove him from an A tier character. But I hope that that's where I put him. Yeah, because that's where he belongs. So we'll just say that this is a similar holds a similar spot on the banner as Pain's. Next up, we have Braska's USB. Sage's staff is RS only, so who cares? Aeons of Flame and Storms. 10 single target. Remember I was talking about Braska being dual elemental. Fire summon, or fire lightning summon damage. Self medium summon damage up. And cast Flame Spark. Let's see what that medium means. It's just 30% summoning boost. This relic came in before the rank boosts, which means that an ability needed to be a higher rank for it to do damage. Braska gets the good version. He does not need to have a high rank on his abilities for it to get the 30%, which is good because the auto fiery lightning doesn't have a rank. So if he had a summoning rank boost, that would mean that the auto fiery lightning wouldn't get any real benefit from this status, but it does in this case. Auto fiery lightning is just another one of those auto chases that happens every 3.5 seconds, so it's definitely not as good as a chase. Yeah, let's check out the multiplier on it. Oh, it's all enemies 6.8. It's weak. It's dual elemental though, and that's useful. But is it useful enough to make up for the fact that he does less damage than a lot of other... You know what? What hurts is we went over this, and this was a really good thing that we were able to accomplish by looking at the tier lists. Is that fire is not a hard element to build for. There are so many users of the element. There is a very, very deep high tier on both physical and magical. So I don't want to say that there's all that much benefit for him from Braska having fire and lightning. I don't really like this USB. So it only gets 30% damage boost from the summon damage up. Has a weak chase. And it's not even a chase, it's every 3.5 seconds. He's just not a heavy damage dealer, unfortunately. Third on the list, we have Jex OSB, which is RS only, dark damage up. Another Blitzball. Oh god, the qualifier on Jex OSB is awful. Multiplier scales with Soul Break Gauge charge on cast. So you want to have a lot of Soul Break Gauge. So if you want to, spam this, every time you use it, it's going to get weaker. It doesn't really affect the damage that you're doing all that much, but it's still, there's definitely better. Like, base 12.0 like Titus, or gets increased multiplier to 12.75 if you're exploiting weakness like Ayame or something. This is good because Jekt is good. And we're going to see the relic. We haven't got to it, but Ricky actually brought it up in chat. The relic that makes Jekt a good character is his LMR. Well, it ties the room together. He definitely needs all of this stuff, unfortunately. But the LMR gets him there after the fact. Then we're into the BSB section. Jekt's old BSB is bad. It's just an Endark BSB, which means it just turns into an Endark Super Soul Break when the ability upgrade comes. Oron's BSB is also bad. It's just an Endfire Super Soul Break. Braska's BSB, a single target random. Why random? Fire, lightning, non-elemental. And the commands I remember suck. Yeah. So where a lot of characters get their Stitch in Time, or their magic bargain as we're calling it now, on their command 2, which also does damage. In order for Braska to get his plus 30% magic buff, he needs to use his first command once, which does 0 damage. So he wastes a turn doing nothing to give himself a buff. It's kind of inexcusable for a damage dealer. Yes, he does pump up his second attack into a 5-hit as long as he has that summon mode active, but it is not enough to make up for the dead turn. So this is also a bad BSB. At the very least, it gives him Men Fire, and it does have plus fire damage up on the staff, so that's fine. Yuna's Summoner's Garb. This is an enduring burst. It was good when it came out. It's still good. Getting buffs from your healer position, I personally think, is very valuable. I use Aphmau's version of this, and I love it. And Yuna's is not that much different. I think in most cases, Yuna can't afford to use her Command 1, just as Aphmau can't afford to use her Command 1. And by the way, what this does is the Command 1 enters her into Summon mode, which enables a small hit on her Medica command. What you're going to be doing most of the time, since you're sacrificing a lot of healing capability for being able to buff the party like this. Yeah, worse, but just only slightly. It's not even worth... it's barely worth separating the two. Like, saying that one has more valuable than the other is really nitpicky, I think. Yes, Aphmau's is better, but just only slightly. So I'm going to compare the two directly. This is not... I'm not even going to talk about that. It's not useful in, like, difficult content. That's for having fun. So you could potentially enter Summon mode, which gives you an extra attack on your Command 2. But really what you're going to be doing with this is very predictable and very easy. You use the Medica, and then use the Medica command. That's it. And the value that you're getting from it is having a healer that can heal the party, if only barely, and buffing up the party at the same time. Which is actually still pretty rare. And it's plus Holy Armor to boot. I really like this burst. I like both versions of it. So... Legend Materia. Oh, is that the only burst that I liked in this entire section? Yes. Yes. Braskus is okay, because it's plus fire damage staff. But that's it. Dissidia Model. 23. 26 is the only one with dark damage up. Which is Jack Super Soul Break. Okay. So, Legend Materia, start battle, then dark. Okay, this is what Ricky brought up in chat. Is that, yes, his USB trades away having End Dark for crit up. Which isn't as good. But, that does allow him to have an LMR that Pain doesn't have. I don't know why I'm comparing these two characters. I guess it's because she came on the first banner. Pain's LMR stinks. It's not even usable. If you've Legend Dived her. But Jack's LMR is perfect. It makes up for every deficiency that his USB has and turns it into having, both End Dark and crit. So if you're able to use these two together, he's going to be dealing, a ton of damage. Jack requires a lot of pieces. He's like another Darkness character that we looked at last week. No, the week before. Sephiroth. If you have all of Sephiroth or Jex's things, they're very powerful characters. Nimrod, she also gets her LMR 1 is double cast white magic, so you could just use that instead. But since the command 1 turns her command 2 into SUM type, if you get her white magic double cast, then well, that's good, because that means you use her command 2 by itself. If you get her SUM type double cast, that sucks, because now you're forced to use the command 1 to turn her command 1 into summoning type. And there's a lot of situations where you can't afford to waste a turn doing nothing with your healer, especially on someone that just use a Cura Medica instead of a Curaga. They really, really fall behind quick. Alright, Braska's LMR, start battle with Unfire. So, I mean, here we're further enforcing. You see Braska's BSB and Fire. Braska's LMR and Fire. Further enforcing that Braska is not really dual elemental. He does fire damage more than he does. And his Legend Dive as well gives him plus fire damage. On his LM1. Really just... He's meant to be doing fire damage, though he could deal lightning if you need him to. It's just not going to be all that good, because he's already not that great of a fire damage dealer. Auron's Blurry Moon, up to medium attack boost based on number of attacks received. This is awful. Wow. Yeah, this is really just garbage. Not only is it attack boosts, a building attack boost, but it's for an awful condition. Jex Guys, Super Soul Break section. Party attack plus 50 is Sid mission stuff. And Auron's Riot Blade is turned into Sid mission stuff. But at least Jex Guys is plus darkness, or plus dark light armor. Sid's banner is pretty bad. Reminds me of the first banner. Like father, like son. But the first banner is better. Jex gets a couple things that he needs to be, one of the top tier characters. A tier. And gets his LMR that gets him there. But the banner altogether is just not as good. So at least in the BSB section, the first banner has Titus's BSB 2. Further building upon Titus's dominance in water. Where this one just has Yuna's. And Braska's USB, I would take pains over it as the consolation 6-star. What percentage? What do you mean by percentage? Every banner's a 14% chance to pull a 5-star or better relic. Yeah, Afmao is pure WHT on all four of her commands. Oh, 3 of 14? Well, it's tough to say because this one has an OSB on it, and OSBs suck by themselves. You would need the other things that make Ject good for the OSB to be worth something. So let's say without the OSB. Ject USB, Una BSB, Ject LMR. So 3 of 14, 4 of 14. If the OSB is worth something to you. If a player wants to be more selective with their pulls, can Onion Knight with his upcoming USB do enough ninja water damage to be a good enough placeholder till a new water bender comes out? Yes. He does enough water damage now. That's how I use him. Right? On one version of my 30-second clear, I don't use that team anymore. Onion Knight is on the team. And he uses the 2 5-star water ninja abilities to deal water damage to Living Flame. I don't know, that's obviously good enough now. I used it in a 30-second clear. It's definitely good enough. But for the future, no. You're going to, if you're light on water, if you're scraping by on stuff like that, you're going to want to look for more. But I think it is an option, skipping this water banner if you need water. Because this won't be the last. I think it's optimistic to hope for more from the festival. I hate putting... I would hate to put my fate in the hands of DNA, because they've been known to crush dreams.